This 28-year-old insurance salesman and this 43-year-old hybrid athlete. What if I told you that they're the same person? He was driving 50,000 miles a year, eating fast food, and selling insurance to parks. Now he's been to the World Championship Ironman 5 times. He's a CrossFit athlete, and he makes his living promoting this lifestyle. And through these 10 simple ideas, he's been able to become more fit than 99% of people on the planet. And with each passing year, he's becoming stronger and more athletic. Meet Eric Hinman. And his journey began with a familiar tale of all the trappings that come from living in the modern world.
28-year-old Eric Hinman was all about the public perception of success. So wanting to have nice suits, wanting to have nice cars, wanting to have a nice condo, wanting to just be in the limelight. I think I fell into that because that was my environment that I was in. I was a victim of marketing. I was a victim of this is what happiness and success looks like. Chase financial goals, make more money, build a big business. You can have nice things, you're going to be super happy. So that's what I was doing. I wanted to be successful. I got my insurance license the day after I graduated from college. So from 21 until 28, that's what I was doing. And I partied a lot. I partied every single Friday, Saturday night to an extreme. I was blackout drunk. I saw at that time that Subway was my healthiest option when I was on the road. It was better than Pizza Hut. I had a lull every single afternoon where I was like, dozing off in the car. And I'm like, this isn't good. On the couch all day long, eating Taco Bell, trying to recover for Monday to have some mental clarity to sell insurance. It was a roller coaster. Sure, I would feel great most Friday nights after having 26 drinks.
And one day, Eric realized that he had to change.
I remember a trip to Bolton Landing, New York, and I had a fairly tight button-down shirt on with pretty tight sleeves. And I remember looking down and I had like some flab that was just like hanging over my arm.
This is where the first simple idea comes in. Hire someone who has the results that you want.
So hiring the personal trainer was solely to get back into aesthetically good-looking shape. I needed the commitment. I didn't have the discipline to do as hard of workouts as what he had me doing. And over a 6-month period, that dramatically changed how I look. But the biggest thing was I started to associate the exercise with how I felt. I didn't feel like I needed to go out and consume a ton of alcohol to be vulnerable and to be my authentic self. After those workouts, I was just so lit up.
So Eric took me to work out with him, and it was actually surprisingly easy.
Yeah, baby. That's a rope. I'm done.
Eric just destroyed me.
That's the wrap, baby.
We just had a killer workout.
Well, what we did is 4x4 back squat, and then it was 3x3 front squat, and then it was a 12-minute EMOM, which means every minute on the minute for 12 minutes. Minute 1, we did 25 wall balls. Minute 2, we did 14 calories on that 𝐓𝐻𝐿 Devil's Bike. And then there was a lot of clean skill work, so we did a 4-minute EMOM of 5 muscle cleans, and then we did 3x3 hang power clean, 3x3 hang squat clean, and then we did a 5-minute every 20-second 1 squat clean at 70%. And then the anaerobic conditioning today, the Metcon, was 5 rounds for time of 12 thrusters at 115 for men, 24 calories on the 𝐓𝐻𝐿 bike, and 48 double unders. And now we're going to finish it off with 20 rope climbs. Pretty casual day.
And this is just how he started his morning. The amount of sheer volume that this guy is doing completely floored me. But when I learned about the next chapter of his journey, it all made sense.
That introduced me to a new friend group that, was into exercise, which led me into triathlon. And through triathlon, that's really what has shaped my life these last 15 years.
What were your new beliefs that weren't currently there before that started to show up and you started to recognize, oh, this is who I am?
Yeah, the biggest one was that I could be world-class in something. Look, I never really thought that before. I had this progression curve where it was, after 6 months, it was getting steep in how much faster and how much fitter I was getting. So I think my belief that changed throughout that time period was, oh, okay, these world-class people, it's not luck, it's not genetics, it's maybe not even the environment they're at. It's just hard work. It's putting on blinders and focusing on one thing for long enough that you can become really successful at it. And that requires you to say no a lot. It's not so much what you say yes to, it's more what you say no to. I was disciplined. I had a training plan, I had a coach. And Whenever I had a workout in Training Peaks, if I completed that workout, it would go from red to green, and I wanted to make every single one of those workouts green. So then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I get it now. Professional athletes, people that build multi-$100-million companies, like they just work their ass off. It was compounding consistencies of 1 inch this way every single day instead of 1 inch this way in the wrong direction of what your goals are each day. And it's just crazy over time how each of those can compound.
The second simple idea that Eric has been using to get incredible results is something that I call the slight edge, which comes from this book that I've talked about before by Jeff Olson. And it's all about these compounding consistencies in the right direction. And Eric's now reaping the rewards of 15 years of all of these compounding consistencies. Okay, but how did he manage to fit all this training into his schedule? Triathlon time is a lot of time, right? Like really long rides, really long runs. How did you, while building businesses, be able to fit this in and then do it at a high level?
Yeah, extremely disciplined. During that time period, everything was time blocked. And I was, again, saying no to basically everything that didn't matter to me at that time. If you're going into something when you're young, let's say right out of college or right out of high school, where you know you don't want to do it for a long period of time, figure out a side hustle. And the best opportunities is where you're either building an asset or you're building a residual income. My insurance business, which I still own today, was my base that allowed me to take all of these risks. It was residual income where as long as I keep that insurance policy, I get paid the same commission every single year, and it takes a hell of a lot more work up front than it does in the years to service it. You know, when you do have these glass balls you can't drop, like a family and a mortgage and car payments, it's going to be really hard to, leave that cushy job that you hate.
This simple idea of creating leverage is what allowed him the freedom to chase his dreams. And the more leverage that you can create, whether it's within a business or in relationships or building up a platform, that's going to give you the time in this space to really build this healthy lifestyle. And when he was doing this triathlon training, that's when he had his next big breakthrough.
I mean, the big unlock that happened for me with Ironman was there's a big difference between training for something and exercise. There's purposeful practice and there's kind of going through the motions. That unlocked for me when I learned about zone 2 heart rate training. Previous to hiring a coach, I was doing everything hard. I thought that was the way to get fitter because that was what I was taught with a personal trainer.
Most people think that they just have to push harder in order to get better results, when in reality, sometimes the best thing you can do is slow down to speed up. And that's where purposeful practice comes in. Different types of training will impact different systems in the body. So now it's not about just exercising, but training for a goal. But after a few years of Ironman training, he started to burn out. So how did he get over that?
I mean, in the Ironman years, I got to a place where I was massively overtraining. I had high cortisol, testosterone had sunk. I felt really banged up all the time, going up and down stairs.
How did that make you feel as the identity of an athlete, knowing that your health is actually really suffering?
Yeah, it's not good because it was really hard to separate myself from, I don't find passion and purpose in this anymore, but this is what I'm known for. It was a good 6 or 8 months to make that switch from, I don't want to do triathlon anymore. I want to try something else. And then, I basically started at the bottom of the barrel in CrossFit during 2015, 2016.
When you find yourself at a place where you're like, I don't want to be this person anymore, I want to be something new. What does that process look like for you?
Find people who've gotten where you want to go.
Yeah.
That is the only way to fast track success, in my opinion, in this world. So right now I have a coach in CrossFit, Jason Grubb, who is a 4-time Masters Games athlete, and I'm following his program because he's gotten where I would like to go in the sport. I would love to be on the podium at the CrossFit Games in the future. So I'm following his program. I'm texting with him on a regular basis. I'm asking him questions. I'm watching YouTube videos on the best athletes. Yeah, just consume from people that have gotten where you want to go.
I'm starting to see some through lines with Eric. Number one, it's always about hiring the right coach, but then to go beyond that, it's also about getting around the right people and creating an environment where you're surrounded by the people who have what you want. So you're not just learning from someone who you're paying to get better, but you're also immersing yourself in this community and in these relationships where everyone's performing at a higher level. I call this environmental influence. And we talked about the most important aspects of his lifestyle that have allowed him to become insanely fit, but also slow down his speed of aging. Like, what do you feel like are the principles that have allowed you to slow this speed of aging down? You're looking younger than you did then.
One workout in every day. And if it's just one workout, generally I'm lifting moderately heavy weights and I'm doing something short, anaerobic, very high heart rate. I'm outside a lot. I love being in nature. I think that is a component to help slow down that aging. And then I'm in a place I love. I'm around people I love. I have great friendships. I have great relationships. I do recovery every night, sauna, cold exposure for an hour and a half, combined with, having friends over and loved ones. Cook most of my meals at home, breakfast and lunch every single day. I'm controlling that. I'm making them at home. And then 28 out of 30 days each month, I'm eating dinner at home, smoking some kind of meat on our smoker and having, a healthy carb, single ingredient foods, found, hunted, and sourced from nature.
Now, I know what you're thinking because I was too. It's like, hey, nice for you that you can work out all day and you can just do all these things and you have all this time. But what I realized after spending time with Eric is he's actually working constantly throughout the day. And he averages between 4 and 6 hours of actual admin and calls every single day. And he just finds places to fit it in. At any given time, he's working with 30 different health and wellness brands, helping them with their marketing, doing content, and also advising them and helping them grow. But one of the biggest hacks is he's doing a lot of his meetings at the gym. So he's working out with people or in the sauna or in the cold plunge doing contrast therapy. So he's meeting with these brands and these founders and these creators all in these activities that he would be doing anyway. So he's found a way to integrate all these things so that work and his workout and recovery and healthy lifestyle is all blended into one. But it still doesn't change the fact that he does all these things with bone-crushing consistency over a very long time horizon. So I had to get to the root of how he's been able to do that for so long. But it's like, how do you become a militant, consistent person and also not feel super rigid?
Now with my rigidity, there's variety within it. I'm in Austin now with you. On a typical day, sure, I might be in Denver, talking to brands, but I allow for these trips to happen where I can do something very similar where I get to have a flow state conversation with someone, at a similar time where I would be doing it with, let's say, brand calls. We worked out this morning. We had a CrossFit workout at a new gym I had never been to. We all met a new person, the guy who owns that gym, which I preach meet at least one new person every single day. I just know what I want to do each day so that at the end of the day, I had my perfect day.
This is one of the biggest unlocks for me because there's been many seasons where I've been really, really consistent and it begins to feel very rigid. And I actually feel like being that consistent actually can make you more fragile. So I finally feel like I have the perfect antidote to that problem. So what is the perfect day concept? How did you come up with that?
So perfect day is doing the things you want each day in the order you want to do them. And I have this list that I wrote out years ago of my tiny wins that I try to get into each and every day.
Perfect day is how Eric continues to be so fulfilled week in and week out. And being happy and fulfilled is one of the biggest contributors there is to your overall health and well-being. So this is what Eric's perfect day looks like. There was a period of time when Eric just made a list of everything that drained his energy and everything that gave him energy. And over time, he just refined it down to what is now his perfect day. So as he started to change these things in his lifestyle, he started attracting things instead of chasing them.
Yeah, so from 21 until 28, I had a suit and tie. I was chasing opportunities. And, I think we do need these periods of time where we do go door to door and we get told no all the time. But, I got to a place with Ironman where I started to have these levers and leverage, and that started bringing amazing people into my life. It started bringing opportunities into my life. Having a following on social media brings opportunities into my life. Brands are always reaching out to me. Creators are reaching out to me. Awesome people are reaching out to me. You can use these levers to start attracting opportunities. That becomes the magic.
And there's this one aspect of Eric's lifestyle that's contributed immensely to his health and his happiness and often goes overlooked by most people.
Friendships, like the hosting of people every single night, having really good conversations with people. And I think sauna is one of the best ways to do that, where you just within 2 or 3 minutes, you drop in with people. Doing the contrast therapy and then specifically hosting people to do that has yielded so much happiness and fulfillment in my life.
I know it sounds like a lot, but the way that Eric laid it out for me makes it feel attainable for almost anyone.
Like focusing on one thing each year. I didn't do it all at once. There was exercise first, like hiring a trainer where I had accountability, where I had a mentor, where I had someone that I was paying to spend 30 minutes with to get me into good shape. And then, that led me to triathlon, which led me to purposeful training and cardio and purposeful aerobic training, understanding, these different energy systems, these different capacities that we have and how to train them specifically to advance.
It's all about doing just one thing each year. I'm going to dedicate this year to movement, or I'm going to dedicate this year to sleep. And just mastering that thing and then building up those compounding consistencies over a long enough time horizon. And then over those 15 years, you're going to be in better shape than 99% of people on the planet. So I hope you like this video. I put a lot of work into it. I know if you like this one, then you're definitely going to like this one right here. So go watch that video right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.